Hey guys, it's David, and welcome to another Splatlog. Today is May 25th. It's Saturday, the weekend. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first off, I don't know. Where should I be looking? That's the camera, right? Yeah, that's a camera. I got a brand new camera, so hopefully the quality is better. Or a brand new phone. I do have a new camera too. Hopefully this is even better than that. Anyway, I'm pretty excited. But what I want to really talk to you about today is focus. And this is something that I've been talking about or been thinking about a lot. I started meditating about, I would say, a month ago, like really seriously, trying to meditate every day. And the idea of it was to improve my focus. And often one of the challenges when playing Splatoon, especially for me, is to focus on the game itself. A lot of times things get distracting, especially maybe you make a bad play and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, like what am I doing? Or, oh, maybe I should have done this and this and this and this and that and that. And then you just start getting into your head and then you're losing sight of the actual game itself. So kind of like, what's the best way to keep yourself from overthinking, keep yourself from getting in your own way, just letting yourself kind of get into a rhythm. I mean, the ideal situation is sort of getting into what people call the zone, just sort of playing without conscious effort, or some would argue that's even more conscious. It seems unconscious because we're not like actively using our head like, oh, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here. It's almost like a feeling. But that would be the ultimate goal of it. And I've been thinking about like, what do you do? Like, should you really be focusing on? And in the book, like Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Galway, he was talking about focusing on the seams of the tennis ball, the sound of the racket, the sort of sounds of the game, and using that eye. And basically, the idea is that you just can't make yourself focus. You just can't just like force yourself, like, I'm not going to think about X, Y, and Z, because the second you start saying, I'm not going to think about this, you start thinking about it. Essentially, it's like the old thing, like thinking about insomnia just causes it to be worse. Like thinking like, oh my gosh, I should be asleep, makes you not want to go to sleep. You start panicking about it, and it gets even worse. So the idea, with the mind, is rather than focusing on not doing something, you pick something to focus on, and you just sort of let those thoughts go to the side, disappear. In meditation, you focus on the breath. You're just sort of like in the in and the out, and then you slowly sort of fall into that rhythm, and that what causes you to sort of like meditate and like sort of leave and calm the mind down, sort of clear the mind out. So what the question for me, and the one I'm still trying to think about, like, what do you focus on in order to play optimally and just sort of fixate the mind on the game itself? For a while I was trying to focus on the reticle, and that might be something. That's one thought. I was even thinking like on sort of the frames of the screen itself was one I've tried out. I'm sort of brainstorming here to kind of like get the wide view, because sometimes I worry like if you focus too much on the reticle, does it sort of narrow your focus down so it's just like that one point and you're missing all the stuff going on the peripheries that could be important. I mean, you focus on like the top of the screen, where the shows you enemies, which enemies are down, which allies are down, things like that. And it's been a struggle for me, and I don't know if you guys have any thoughts, like, what do you focus on? Definitely share that in the comments. I definitely want to hear about that, because I always think it's really cool to collaborate on these sort of things. Is it, on the hand, maybe even thinking more on the tactile, is like the hands itself, focusing on the motions and the sounds of the game. Might be the best way to sort of absorb yourself in the game itself. I mean, it's a very interesting subject for me, and something that I'm looking forward to exploring more in depth as I progress. I think it's definitely important and worthwhile, because oftentimes, as I said before, we get too caught up on negative thoughts, and it sort of distracts us from what we need to be doing, which is actually being focused and in the game. Of course, you also in this game too, though, one of the challenges is you actually have to communicate when you're playing on a team, and how do you get absorbed in the game and then also talk at the same time. That can be a challenging, especially for me, since I'm not naturally talkative. When I get absorbed in the game, I just tend to, like, when people, you even see it with like streamers when they go to that try hard mode, where they're just like sound like, and they're just like totally focused in on it, so they can't hold a conversation while they're just so focused on it. And that's another element of complication. So there's a lot of interesting things to be explored in this game, and focus is one of the things that I definitely want to work more on. All right, guys, that's it for my video. I hope you like the new quality. Got some sort of like shadows here. Maybe I should have gone out into more sunlight. I like this. If I get it just right, it's like my nose looks giant. It's like perfectly with the light on it, catching the light. It's like one big nose. It's very very flattering. Anyway, guys, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. What are you focusing on? What do you focus on when you play the game? How do you get into it? Let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you later tomorrow. Bye.